Hi, Angie. I think you might be the first person on today. I have a super fun project, and I'm just going to wait here. Oh, it looks like we've got quite a few people coming on. If you're coming on, say hi so I know you're here. Fix my hair. Hi, Andrea. Hello, you guys. You're coming on quick today. That's wonderful. Hi, Eileen and Mickey. Hello. All right, you guys. You know, I had a project all decided on yesterday that I was going to do today. And then this morning I woke up and just changed my whole thing today. So I have been like a busy bee all morning long getting prepped for this. But I'm really happy with it, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I don't know if you saw it when you were coming on, but I'll put the... Hi, Debbie Fitzgerald. I'll put the... Trying to see. I'll put the camera down again so you can see real quick, and then we'll get started. Okay, so I should turn this around because I can tell it's upside down for you guys. Aren't these cute little wood ornaments just darling? And I'll tell you why I changed my mind today. I got to get all three of them in the camera here. Is that better? Nope, that was worse, huh? Okay, so anyway, why I changed my mind today is that on Friday, I'm having a luncheon for some of my girlfriends, and I wanted to have a quick and easy project to do with them after our lunch. And because they're all crafters, every single one of them. That's why we all are friends. And so I thought, oh, I should do this. Well, while I was working on these, then I just changed my mind and decided these are so much fun to do, and they're fast and easy, and you might want to make them for gifts for people. You might want to just use them as tags on your presents. You might want to do these, you know, for coworkers and office people, or you might want to do them with your kids or your grandkids. I mean, I can see myself sitting down with my granddaughter and doing a bunch of these, and she would just love this. She's a crafter. I wonder where she gets that from. Anyway, I just love how these are turning out. And I have a free giveaway for you guys. All you have to do is just send an email to me at, I have to stop and think. It's Deborah Bucher Designs at gmail.com. And if you just send an email to me and say you want the free printouts, then I will just email these back to you. So there's 3 pages, and there's duplicates on some of them. And I'll tell you how to manage these, but there's 3 pages of different old vintage pictures. I want to be sure that these are all showing up on camera. It's always the opposite of what I think. Okay, so did I go too far? Once I get it in, we're almost there, aren't we? Okay, so there's 3 different sheets. And I think this one with the pine cones, there's two in a larger size. I think they're really pretty too and would be pretty on here. And so we'll do some of those together. Then I'm going to bring the camera back up. Hello. Hi, Carol. So let me just say this, you guys, before we get going here. I'm Deborah Bucher with Deborah Bucher Designs, and I'm in Surprise, Arizona, and I'm a retailer for Dixie, Belle and Wise Owl Paint and Redesigned by Prima and Roycycle Decoupage Tissues and Deborah Bucher Design Decoupage Tissues. And Would You Bend and Posh Pigments. So, and I have a website, so any products that you need are available on my website. Now, back to these sheets. These, if you want them for this project, they're free. And you just have to have Word on your computer to be able to print them out. And I'll show them to you one more time. And I'm going to tell you how I did these. I'm going to tell you what works and what doesn't work. So this was my journey this morning. First of all, I printed it on a plain sheet of paper by accident. And these will work. In fact, I did, this one is done off of plain paper. But that's not my favorite way. Then I thought, oh, I'll do them on some old book pages. And I really like how that turns out. And that's how this one is done. The trick and the problem that I ran into with the pages is this is just printer paper, and I just used a glue stick to glue it to the paper. And you have to be really careful when you're doing that to get all your corners and edges down, especially well, because otherwise it'll catch in the printer. And but my problem was, and I don't know if you can see it in here, I think you can see it on the Santa Claus. I had two different pages here, and the way the Santa Claus is on my printout, I ended up with a seam going right through. You can really see it on this one. And I didn't want to have a seam on my ornament. And same over here. So I only had one that didn't have a seam in it. And that one was this one. So I couldn't figure out how to, on Word, realign my placement so that the seams were in the right places. So I gave up on that because I was spending too much time on it. Then I thought, in my stash, I have some really cool old vintage paper. And so I thought, well, I should try that. And I like these. But this paper, I think, is a little bit on the dark side. Hi, Carol. Hi, Anaya. So I will probably use these, but again, this wasn't my favorite. So going back through my stash is when I came up with this. And this is rice paper. And you can run this through your printer. When you buy rice paper, it's longer and wider. So you have to trim it down to fit into your printer. So I just put a piece of paper on top of it and then cut it with my scissors. It will not cut with my paper cutter. It's because rice paper has fibers in it, and my paper cutter kept catching on the fibers. So once you get it, your printed out, then you need to put a fixative on it. And there are all kinds of, hi Brania, there are all kinds of spray fixatives, and you may already have some in your stash. But what I've used in the past, and it's always worked out really well for me, is I've used just hairspray. I don't use hairspray on my head. I never use hairspray. I mean, I've probably had this can of hairspray for 5 years. Anyway, I just took it outside. Oh, you got your move stencil. Awesome. Let me thank you for that. So anyway, I just take it outside and spray a light coat of hairspray on it for the fixative. Also, you can heat these up with a heat gun, or if you have one of these Ranger heat tools, and you can heat set your dye that way. I forgot that step when I was prepping these this morning, and so I didn't do that on any of them. However, I saw in my dish with my top coat that I could see that it was bleeding off. Isn't that sweet? So that's what reminded me that I needed to heat set these. I love this one. And I did try to print out another page, and it jammed in my printer. I had 2 jams, so it was like, okay, I need a fast way to get this done today. And of course, this is my favorite, Old Saint Nick. Okay, so if you guys are interested in doing this project yourself, I have these little wood ornaments on my website. I think, honestly, I think they are 6 for $2, maybe less than $2. I can't remember when honestly, I don't remember how I priced them, but they're very, very inexpensive. And so you can order a bunch of them. And then for these designs, these are free. All you have to do is send me an email at deborahbucherdesigns@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to send that off to you. And it's a Word document, so you have to have Word on your computer. So let's get started. I'm going to put the camera down. I'm going to put a piece of tape down on my paper so I know where to keep you guys in focus here. Let's see. Tricks of the trade, you guys. Okay, so to do this project, you need your printouts. You can print your own, or you can use the ones that I've printed out. You need your little wooden disc, and they're all different sizes. Every one of them is different from the other, and they already have the hole pre-drilled here. And I also think like a little red ribbon or something tied at the top of this would be really sweet too, but that would have taken a little bit more time because I'm not a good bow person, even just tying a simple one. So you need some Dixie Belle satin top coat, because that's what I always decoupage with. And And I'm just going to put a little bit on my plate here. That was a little more than I need, but that's okay. And let's see, which one of these designs? And since they're different sizes and different shapes, you kind of like, this one doesn't have a whole lot of area in it, so you need to keep that in mind. I think I'm going to do one of these pine cones next. And there's two different pine cones, and this one is a little bit larger. So I think I'll use that one. I just need to find I cleaned off my table, you guys. Now I can't find anything. There's my scissors. Let me see if there's any questions. Debbie, I used an inkjet printer. I have a Canon inkjet, and then I have a laser. And my laser is just black and white. So you could also take these. Oh, this is another good point. You could take these to a printing shop or, you know, Office Max or one of those places and have them printed out. But when you're using the rice paper, I'm glad I remembered to tell you guys, there's a shiny, smooth side, and then there's a rough side that feels like it's fabric. When you print, you want to be sure you run this through your printer so that it's going to print on the rough side. And every printer is different, so I don't want to tell you which way. You can always do a test first, so you know how to put the paper in your feeder. So just be sure that when you go to print, you're printing on the rough side. And I have a piece of plastic. Oh, here it is. So I think I'm going to put, let's see, the hole is there. I think I'm going to use this one instead. Yeah. Okay, so just trim it up. And I want to show you something. Trimming it with the scissors, that looks, I don't like an organic cut like that. So what I like to do is, I like to wet the edges. So you just take, I like a round tip brush for this process. And you just wet the edges of your paper. And if you're using actual tissue paper, it's a little bit easier than using I just went blank. Whatever this paper is, I told you, I just went blank. Okay, and then after you've wet it, you can just pull your edges off. Rice paper, that's where I went blank. And I'm going to show you using the different papers that I've printed up over here. I kind of want to get in close in here. Let me see if there's any questions. Rice paper, yeah, Sherry, thanks. Thanks for watching. Mickey, you could, I wouldn't recommend using cardstock because I think that's it's too thick to begin with, and you want your paper to be transparent as possible. Like I did make it work on just the paper this paper that I just printed out. I did make it work. That's what this little ornament was done with. But I pinched off, if you look at that closely, I really pinched off all the way around it so there wasn't any white showing, because just using, this is going, because this is rice paper, it's going to disappear on here. But I still want to get it as close as I can, because I don't want much of that white. Like I don't want all of that white showing on there. And you know, if you have any of the Roycycle decoupage tissues, like the master boards and stuff that have smaller pieces on them, you can do the same thing using those. The reason why I chose to do that this way today was to show you how to pull off designs that you like to do yourself, and make it a inexpensive project, especially if you want to do it with kids or family and friends. That was one purpose. And then I just wanted to show you, you know, that sometimes you can just do these things on your own. But if you already have some Roycycle, like her masterboard, which is just my favorite Christmas tissue, she did some beautiful ones this year. Okay, so you can see that there's still some white around that, but that's okay. And so then I have a sheet of plastic. This is just the plastic bag that you get. In fact, this is what I ship your decoupage tissue in, is these bags. And so I'm laying it down backwards, and I'm going to use some of the Dixie Belle satin top coat, and I'm just going to paint it on to this tissue. And I want to get it covered really well. And oftentimes you would paint the back of this white and put it on your piece. And that makes it pop. But I chose to just leave the natural look on here and not have it be bright white on the background. So doing it on the plastic here allows you to move this around and position it. So like the hole is right there, and I don't want to put this design over the hole. So I think I'm going to put it right there and just lay it down and just press it on. Just like magic, you guys. And I have a little piece of saran wrap here, and there are no wrinkles. It's perfectly straight. I just moved you completely out of camera. Okay, let's try there. Okay, so there are no wrinkles with this. And so I'm just going to take that plastic on my finger and just smooth it out. But there's really honestly nothing to smooth out. And then I'm going to take another coat of the satin top coat and just coat over the top of the whole piece. And if by chance it does wrinkle up on you, don't freak out, because paper has elasticity to it. And as it dries, it will smooth right back out again. And that's it, you guys. So we have this cute, I just want to make sure I got the whole thing top coated. Now, if you wanted to, you could set this aside and let it dry, but you could always come back and do another one on the back side of it. So if it's hanging on your Christmas tree, you've got it done, a design on both sides. And since, you know, you can print these off yourself, I think that's a really fun idea, because it's, you know, it's just time. It's not costing you money. It's just time. So I'm going to set that one aside and let it dry. And I think I will do, I want to do one in the paper, the regular paper, to show you the difference. So I think I'll do this robin up here. Okay, so this is nothing special. This is just plain old printer paper. And again, I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to wet around it. Let me check your questions. Hi, Melissa. Melissa, we're going to do this after our lunch on Friday. This is the project I came up with to do with all the girls. If you didn't catch the beginning of my live today, I was talking about I had a completely different project I was going to do on the live today, but I was thinking about the lunch on Friday, and then I was like, this would be a fun thing to do. I think I'll do it today. So, you know, I start prepping for my lives on Monday every week. And so because I didn't have this prepped, I had to really like scoot around fast today. Okay, and this is just plain old regular printer paper. And this, one of you had asked about using cardstock, and this is difficult to work with, just being plain old paper like this. I think cardstock would really be a problem. Because cardstock would be like double the thickness of this. I'm just going to snip that. And again, you guys, the reason why I'm tearing is because I like the organic edges better than the cut edges. I mean, don't you think that that organic edge looks better than having a harsh cut like that? I guess it's all personal preference. And even though I have heat set these and sprayed them with hairspray as a fixative, and there is real fixative. I mean, you can go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever craft store you have, and you can buy real fixative. I just know that this particular brand of hairspray does work because I've done this before. And since I didn't plan ahead on this, I just used what I had on hand. But I'm still trying to be careful not to get my water on my printout because I don't want it to reactivate it or smear it. So I'm just doing the best that I can to pull off this paper and get it as close to the edge and have as little of the white showing as possible. And I'm really close to the cardinal's head there. It would be a shame to rip his head off. Okay, so let's see which one of these he fits on the best. I kind of like him on this one. There's a lot of wood, a lot of bark around this one. Okay, so it's the same process. It's really easy if you use this piece of plastic and turn it over and put the correct side down and just paint the satin top coat. And if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know the reason why I use satin top coat is because it's archival. It is not going to crack and yellow over time. It's not going to age and turn yellow on you and crack on you. And Mod Podge does. All Mod Podge is glue and water. So over time, it's going to yellow whatever you put it on and crack. So this won't. This is what you finish furniture with, and it is going to last forever. Okay, so I'm being mindful of the hole that's drilled in there, and then of positioning this on here. And the nice thing about using this plastic sheet like this, it's actually cellophane, it's not plastic, is that if there were any wrinkles on there, I can just rub them out. There are 0 wrinkles on there. This way. Okay. So I think that looks good, but you can see how you can see the white background on it, and this is just because it's the natural paper and it doesn't disappear in the background. And this is too detailed to get real close with it. So again, I'm just going to put another coat of top coat on it just to protect the whole thing. And set it aside to dry. Hi, nature. Melissa, it's just hairspray that I have. I honestly, I never use hairspray. And I've had this can of hairspray for probably 5 years. It's Tresemme. And I did 2 things to be sure that that ink was set. I printed them off, and then I took them outside and gave them a light spraying of the hairspray. And I've used this as a fixative before, so I knew it worked. But then I also, just to be double sure, I mean, I did them probably 2 or 3 hours earlier today. But then when I came in here to sit down at the table to work, I used my Ranger heat tool, and heat set them, because the heat will set your ink too. And none of it blurred or came off. When I did the first ones that I did earlier today, I could see some of the ink was coming off on it into the satin top coat. And that's what reminded me, oh yeah, you need to spray these with a fixative. Now, one thing you could do if you didn't want all of that, let me see if I have it handy here. You could take your distress inks. I don't know if I can just get on the edge of that or not, but let me just see. Let me find a, let's see, I need a different kind of brush here. It's on the other side of the table, of course. Okay, so I've got a stiff brush here. This is the kind of brush I use for dry brushing, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this ink on here and see if I can just kind of distress that and blend that in. This is Walnut Stain by Tim Holtz. And I think this is a good idea, you guys. What do you guys think? I think I'll just go over that whole, really lightly, just go over the whole thing. And remember, I've already put my top coat on there. There we go. I kind of like that. It kind of knocks out how bright that white background was on there. What do you guys think? Hi, Lisa. Well, Lisa, no worries, because we're doing a bunch more here. I printed off different prints, and these are available to you for free. All you have to do is just send me an email at deborahbucherdesigns@gmail.com. Okay, so let's do this Santa Claus. I don't have one of him, and of course he's not going to fit on the whole thing, but here's a bigger wood cut. And so I can at least get his head and this part of his body on there. So I'm going to take my scissors and this is done on the rice paper. And if you came in late, I explained in detail how to do it on different kinds of paper. But I think the best result is with the rice paper. Although I really like the book page one. This is the one that I did on a book page that I used a glue stick and glued it down to another sheet of paper and ran it through. And the first one I did came out great. The second one jammed up in the printer. So just depends on how much patience you have. Okay, so I know this, and this is on the rice paper. So I know the whole Santa isn't going to fit on there, but we can get down. There's the hole there, and we can get down to about there. So I'm just going to run my finger across it so I know where to pull the paper. And I really like this little Merry Christmas, and I might use it on something else. And since it's not going to be on part of this design, I'm just going to go ahead and clip that off. Okay, and I'm going to set it back down. This is the rice paper, so we're going to tear it and pull it. Okay, so I'm going to use my brush and water, and I don't want this edge on here. So I'm going to go ahead and wet this section. And I don't want that white border at the top, so I'm going to pull it off. And you guys, I can see that it's interesting. This one is bleeding a little bit. The color is. I'm not sure why, but I think it's still going to be okay. And you can see that this rice paper is much easier to pull off than just the regular printer paper was. And then we don't want that straight edge around there. So I'm going to wet that a little bit. and just get a rough edge, an organic edge. And then let's put it back on here and see what it looks like. We need to have that hole. So it looks like we could pull a little bit off there. And then I'll pull off a little bit more down here around the bottom. And you guys, some of these designs are the same designs I have in the large decoupage tissue. I don't know if you noticed that, but the Santa I have in 2 sizes. I have the same Santa in the 20 by 30 sheet of decoupage tissue, and also he's included on the one that's all 4 of them on one sheet. Okay, so my hole is up here. And I still have a little bit of white over here. I just want to get rid of it. Okay, so I'll get my sheet out, turn it over on the back side, and put 1 coat of the satin top coat on it. You guys can see how fast and easy this is, and you know, get your girlfriends together and make a bunch of ornaments. You could do a special tree with these ornaments on it. These would be really cute tags to put on Christmas gifts. And then, you know, besides the gift, then they have an ornament keepsake. This is a easy, whoops. Well, let's put him back on again because I want you to see how easy it is to place him. That's funny, he just popped right off. Okay. Okay, and by using this sheet, and all this is a plastic sleeve that I ship out decoupage tissue in. So if you order tissue, regular tissue, your tissue will come in one of these. He's a little off center, but he's down, so that's the way he's gonna stay. And I think that's okay. And there's no wrinkles or anything. I'm just going to put another top coat on it to just seal him in. Keep him protected. Okay, and we've got another one done. Let me check on questions. Hi, Molly. Yeah, we started right on time. I know I always get confused, but I do put an event. I create an event for my lives, And that always should notify you at the correct time. So if you guys like those, when you see those events pop up, if you click on them that you are interested, it will send you a reminder of when I'm going live so that you don't miss it. And it's always correct for whatever time zone you're living in. So just for giggles, I showed you guys at the beginning of the video that I printed these out on different papers to see what I liked best. I really like this one, and I'll try reprinting it again and try to, when I have more time, move these over so that I don't end up with page seams in them. Because this is the one, out of this whole sheet, this was the only one that didn't have a seam in it. But I really like having the page background in there. And of course it prints over the design too, but I just like it. I just like pages, period. And so I was experimenting with different papers, and I had this old vintage looking paper. And so I printed on that, and it does come out kind of dark on it, but I think I'll try this one on one of these rounds. This is a small one, so that should be pretty good for that one. So I'm just going to tear this. This is pretty cool paper. And just by tearing it that way, I get the white edges. So I think if I use the water method, I think that I won't end up with white edges. One of the methods I didn't show you guys, I didn't show you because it jammed in my printer twice, and I've done it before, so I don't know why it was jamming today, but I just took regular tissue paper and taped it down to a sheet of paper to feed it through. And I did it twice and it jammed twice, so then I moved on to another method. I'm wondering, since I did it before, I wonder if when I did it before, if I used a glue stick instead of just taping it down. Okay, and this did tear showing a white edge, and I don't want to have a white edge on it. So let's see what happens if we take some of this distress ink and distress those edges. Let's see. Just want to age up the white edges that we're showing on there. And if you're coming on late, Molly, I told everybody that these designs that I have printed off, I can send it to you for free. Oh, I like how that turned out. Just send me an email at deborahbucherdesigns@gmail.com, and it's a Word document, and I'll just email it to you. And there's 3 pages of different designs. Okay, so that one's a little small. And also these little wood blocks are on my website too, and they're really inexpensive. I can't remember honestly what price I put on them. It might be 3 for $1.50. I know it was really inexpensive, you guys. So you can just go on my website if you're interested in ordering these. Isn't that pretty, you guys? I like that one a bunch. And there's 3 different sheets. They're all Word documents, so you would need to have Word or take it to Office Max or any of those office supply stores that do printing, and they can print it out for you. And then be sure and watch the beginning of the video so that you can see how to set the ink on these. Okay. Then just turn it over, and because you can see through here, then it will let you position it where you want it. Just rub it on there, and it goes on perfectly flat with no wrinkles or anything on it. It's awesome. If you had a wrinkle show up on it, you could just take a piece of plastic wrap and wrap it around your finger and go over it to get your wrinkles out. But there's doing it this method to transfer it over onto it, it doesn't wrinkle. And so then I just want to take a little bit more of my satin top coat and just put a protective coat on the top of it. Okay, and then we have another one finished here. Looking on my laptop, it looks like these things are blurry. I don't know why, unless it's the lens on my camera that's causing that. All right, how are we doing on time? Well, time's up, you guys. So let me bring the camera up. Molly, if you don't have a color printer, yeah, just take the file to any office supply store, you know, most of them do printing, and just have them printed off on whatever paper you want it on. Now, like, the best result, honestly, is using the rice paper. I have had the best result with that. But, you know, I think this one that I just used on this old vintage paper turned out really cool. I like how that looked. And if you don't jam up your printer with it, I really love having, this was done, I glued with a glue stick a page out of a book on another piece of paper and ran it through. And the first one worked great. The second one jammed on me. So, you know, if you have time and patience, that's a good thing. This one is just the rice paper, and it's got a lot of white around it. I'm going to take the distress ink and see if I can distress that white out of there. Not make it so... Oh, the camera's not down. Hang on. I looked over. Hang on. Okay, so I'm just using the Tim Holtz Distress ink and a stiff brush, and I'm just going around those edges. And this was rice paper, but that helps camouflage the white background on it. And this particular color is Walnut Stain. It works really good with these wood rings. Yeah, that's much better. I like that. What do you guys think? So let me put the camera back up. Hello. All right, well, you guys, if you have any questions, I'll go back through and answer your questions. And like I said, I've got, if you want these designs, I'm happy to email them to you. Hi, Sherry. To do the decoupage, I was just using a small brush and some satin top coat for the decoupage medium, and I've done a bunch of them. And these designs that I'm showing you guys today are available to you for free. Just send me, I'm going to go back over this one again with some more of the stain. But just send me an email saying you want the free designs at Deborah Bucher Designs at gmail.com. I love this Santa. And this one was printed, I put with a glue stick, I printed a page out of a book and then printed the design on top of that. And I did get one page out. The second time I did it, it jammed in my printer. This one turned out real pretty, I think. I really like this one. So anyway, there's 3 pages of designs for free if you're interested in that. And these wood rings, I'm pretty sure, I know I put them on the website, and I think it was 3 for $1.50. I'm not sure. You can go on and look and see. It's under, it's in the last category under wood something. There's a category called wood something. I don't know why I'm going blank today. They're very inexpensive. I think this is a really fun craft to do with friends. I'm having a few of my besties over for lunch on Friday, and after our lunch, this is going to be our little project to do. I just think it's a fun family thing. So if you've got kids, grandkids, this would be a great thing to do with them. Hi, Mindy. So if you guys have any questions, just make a comment. I'll go back and answer any questions that you have. And again, if you're interested in these supplies, they're on my website. You guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you being so faithful and tuning in every Tuesday at 4 p.m. And I would also love it if you guys would go over to YouTube and subscribe and watch my videos over on YouTube. Thanks, Lisa. So you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.